Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Solo. I'm very excited to have Sarah Jacobson as a guest today. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell the audience a little bit about you and your business, what you do.
Yes, I would love to. So, my name is Sarah Jacobson, and I call myself a fractional COO. And the way that I love to talk about myself and how people know me in my business is I'm the queen of helping you do the right work. That's like everything that I do is this the right work? That's the question that I ask my clients. That's the question that I love to hear my clients ask themselves. Is this the right work for me to be doing right now? And the way that I do that is to help you look at your systems and operations to see if you're being the most efficient and effective with your time and your energy and your resources so that ultimately, as a business owner, you can make the right hire in your business, whether that's a VA or an online business manager, maybe it's a social media manager, somebody to help you in your business. You can't do that effectively until you know that you're doing the right work. And so that's what I love to do.
Awesome. So I've never heard anybody explain it like that. That's very important because it's very easy to get sucked into a hole and then come out on the other side and think, why did I do all of that?
Yes. Yes. And oftentimes what my clients will say is, I used to get to Friday afternoon. I've worked all these hours in my business and I look at my to-do list and I go, I didn't get anything done that I wanted to get done. And it's like, what are we spending our time and energy on? And how am I showing up in the afternoons and evenings for my family if I feel like I'm not really getting anything done in my business? So we want to do that to set ourselves up for success everywhere.
Awesome. Okay. So what inspired you to go solo in your business?
Well, that is a great question. I started out my career 25 years ago in public education. I was a teacher and a school administrator for 20 years, and I loved that work. But God really called me out of that in the middle of COVID. We all remember what that was like. And I just realized that I was working on someone else's timeline and off of someone else's expectations of what I was going to do. And it meant that I was missing out on time with my family, with my kids. They were in middle school at that time. I was missing out on my relationship with my husband because I was working and working and working all these hours, nights and weekends, all the time. I was getting phone calls late at night, early mornings because of COVID and all the things that that meant for school. And my health was really suffering. I really went that last year that I worked in public education, I was in the doctor's office all the time because I just was so stressed. And so God really called me out of that. And I decided God called me into starting a business and being able to have the flexibility to run it the way that I kind of wanted to run it instead of being on someone else's timeline and time frame and demands and expectations and all of that. And so my business and going solopreneur really came out of a deep desire to want to be at home, to be more present with my kids, and to just be healthier all around.
That is, that was a big decision for you to make,
Yes, it was.
but it obviously was the right decision.
It was. I had a lot of doubts along the way. I mean, the first 3 to 6 months after I left that, I mean, it was a career. It was a calling that I had. I wanted to be a principal. I was just a few short years away from achieving that goal. I had a lot of doubts and I really questioned the whole process. And I said to my husband a number of times, did we make the right decision? This was a huge financial decision, retirement security, insurance. I mean, all of it. It's not just like, oh, I left my day job. I left a whole career and an investment behind in making that decision.
Yeah, wow. Well, good for you for being brave. But I think the pandemic had us all questioning what we were doing in our lives
For
and
sure.
making judgments,
Yes.
making adjustments,
Yes.
if we were smart like you.
Well, or just a little crazy.
Okay, maybe that too. So what's been your biggest challenge? And have you overcome it?
Yeah, that's a great question because it really does go together. One of my biggest challenges was just learning how to trust myself that I knew how to do this work, because I had been in not necessarily a corporate setting, but in a setting where I had a boss and where I had someone dictating what time to show up, what to wear, what to do, how to behave, what to say, all of that. I had to learn how to do all of that for myself as a solopreneur. How was I going to show up? Where was I going to work? Now I had all these choices I could make, What was I going to do today? How was I going to do this? Who was I going to hire for my business to help me? I had to make all of those decisions, and I just found myself second guessing every single thing I was doing in a way that I had never experienced when I had someone telling me what to do every day. And so I really have to, I've been on a journey for the last 5 years, learning to trust myself to just make a decision and go with it and see how it turns out. I've had to learn how to be really curious and ask a lot of questions, even if I'm just asking myself, what are you going to do today? Why are you going to do it that way? What's going to make you money today? What's not going to make you money and just waste your time? I've had to learn that process of trusting myself that I can actually make those good decisions. And I think it's still a process. I think there's weeks that will go by and I'm like, this is great. I'm doing great. I'm trusting myself. I've got forward momentum. And then something will happen in my business and I'll go back to the beginning and like, I don't trust anything. I'm seeing everything. And I feel really grateful that I have some really good biz besties that we Voxer. And so we'll talk on Voxer and they'll hype me up. Sarah, you can do this. You've got this, and help me kind of get back into the groove again.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really helpful to have people you can reach out to
Yes.
just because even though you're solo, you still need support around
Yes.
you. And it's
100%.
helpful if they're also business owners because
Yeah.
they understand what you're
Yes.
going through.
For sure.
So they know the challenges. So do you have a unique niche that you focus on?
I do, and it has taken me a while to get there. So if you're not there yet, I would just encourage you, keep digging, keep being curious about who you want to work with, who you can best serve. And really my unique niche that I love to work with is online business owners who are just about to hit the 100K a year mark or have already hit it and really are starting to ask themselves the question of, how do I hire someone in my business? Who do I hire? How do I even start that process to find someone? How do I delegate to people when I'm the one who's built this business? The people that I work with are mostly like me, where they've built this business on their own blood, sweat, and tears. And now the thought of turning over some of those tasks to someone else like makes them break out in hives and, start to sweat because they're like, I don't know if I can ask someone else to do this. Can they do it the same way that I would do it? How do I actually do that? That's where I love to come in and step in with those people at that point in time in their business.
That was one of the hardest lessons I had to learn, that you need to, if you're going to give somebody the responsibility, you need to let them do it their way. I mean,
Mm,
you can tell them how you do it, but
mhm.
they're not the same person you are. So
Right.
as long as they accomplish it, give them free rein to do the work.
Yes, and I always say that if someone else can do that task at about 80% proficiency, even if it's not 100% exactly the same way you would do it, if it's at about 80%, then you actually need to be delegating it, or else you're losing money in your business. You're doing the work. You're doing $20 an hour work yourself as the CEO instead of going out and making 100, 200, $300 an hour. You're actually not making money in that process. You're losing it.
Yeah, exactly. So you work with a lot of solopreneurs then. Do you see any shifts happening that could change the way that solopreneurs work in the future?
Yes, I think that's a great question. And it's one we all really need to be thinking about, even if we aren't necessarily future oriented thinkers, even if we're more just like, I want to be in the present, I'm just doing this day to day. I think we do need to be paying attention. And a couple of the things that I see right now is impacting us as online business owners is one is AI and that artificial intelligence. And to me, it's two sides of the same coin, being a really great tool that we need to learn how to be using in our business. and also a real downside to business because it can have an impact on our authority and our authenticity and the personal connections that we're making with people. And so I think we really need to be paying attention to how can I use this to make my work more efficient so that it actually frees me up to continue to be human in my business. And that's part of the work that I do with people too, is if you're delegating your work either to someone you're hiring in your business or to AI, to, software and programs that can help you be more efficient, then the time that's freed up by doing that we need to build in connection and relationships and being genuine and authentic in our business because people crave that, which is also a shift I think we need to pay attention to in business is buyer behavior. It's changing right now. People are needing longer to get to know you and trust you and to see that you actually have results in your business and that you're the one who can help them. And you can't do that entirely if you're pushing your business towards being completely automated and run by AI. We still need that human, personal touch where we show we really do care about you. You're not just a number or, paying me money in my business. You're actually a human being. And I'm a human being who actually really cares about you.
Cares. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing that concerns me about AI is that business owners jump in, they ask it a question, they take whatever it spits out, but they haven't trained it to understand who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You can teach
Yes.
AI to
Yes.
know your personality. Like I'm a little bit sarcastic and AI knows that.
Right. Yes.
But I also use a little humor. And so,
Yes.
yeah, that's what worries me is that they don't necessarily have the right skill set yet
Yes.
to use it effectively.
Yes. And I love that you said the word yet because it can be learned. You can
Yeah.
learn how to use AI very effectively and efficiently, but it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning is I'm the queen of helping you do the right work. And so if we're going to use AI, let's do the right work and do it well and do it in the right way and take time to do that and do it on purpose, not just like, oh, this is going to save me 5 hours this week.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you stay ahead of the trends and adapt your business accordingly?
Yeah, that's also a real challenge. That's a great question. One of the things is that I mentioned already is I try and stay curious and I try and ask a lot of questions. When I'm in a room with people, whether I'm networking or I'm in some coaching groups, I always try and show up with some sort of question so that I can learn from these people. A lot of times I go to coaching calls and people will be on the call and they're like, I don't have any questions. I'm like, you paid for this program. Come ask questions. Like I'm always asking questions. What do you think? How are you using this? What do you see? Because I've paid for a program or I'm in a room when I'm networking. I'm with a lot of people who know a lot more things about different things than I do. And so that's one of the ways that I've really tried to do it is just be curious, ask questions, get to know the smartest people in the room. I just asked a gentleman that I met in networking a couple weeks ago. I was like, can we just go out for coffee? Because you know a lot about this and I'd love to pick your brain. And he said yes. And he gave me 2 hours of his time to just talk about these kinds of things. What are the trends that you're seeing in the industry? Can you help me connect with these kind of people? You just have to ask, but that starts with being curious.
Exactly. I love that. I've always said that listening is my kryptonite
Yeah,
because when you listen, you learn so much. And it also helps when you're talking with a potential client. If you're listening, you know where they're challenged and you can help provide a solution whether they hire you or not.
right. Exactly.
Okay. What's one tool, app, or resource that you can't live without in your business?
Yes, I saw that question on your list and I was like, I've got to think about this because I do love good software. But I love good software that's right for the right person. And that's why in my business, I don't sell you on Asana or ClickUp or some sort of program. I want you to pick the program that's going to work for you. But for me in my business from day one, what I cannot live without is Google. I love Google, and I'm talking their email platform, their Google Drive, Sheets, Google Docs. I use it every day with every client. Because to start with, it's free. You can use it for a free version, and I do love a really good free version. I love it for their email platform because when you have a domain, it costs about $8 a month to have a really nice email so you can look professional. It's a very easy way to look professional, and it's just a great way to be organized. It's a great way to share documents with other people without having to use Zapier or some other complicated tool. It's very simple to use. It's very accessible to everyone. And I use it every single day.
That's awesome. So I use Google a lot, not quite as much as you, but I really rely on my CRM
Yes. Yes,
a
for
lot.
sure. Yeah.
So, do you have daily habits or routines that keep you focused and productive?
I do. And it took me a while to find the right ones for me because I think for a long time I made the mistake that a lot of people make and they just do what someone else tells them to do. And so I have really had to take some time to figure out what that is for me at this stage of life. I have two teenage boys. One of them is driving now. So my life has like really changed. I feel like in the last couple of years, I'm not driving my kids around as much as I used to. I'm not driving around because I don't go to an office like I used to. So I've had to take some time to do that. So I get up in the morning, not as early as I used to when I had to be at work at like 7 a.m. I get up a little bit later now.
Good for you.
But I really enjoy doing some stretching in the morning. My husband works from home now too, and so we go for a walk almost every morning and just kind of have a little date time before breakfast. I love to take a nice hot shower in the morning. I don't drink coffee, so I always say my shower is like my hot, my coffee in the morning. I spend time with God, whether it's praying or reading His Word, all before I even hit my email inbox or, open my phone. And that has been a real game changer for me because I think for a long time it was easy to just like, oh, I'm going to lay in bed and, check my email and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, what really helps me is starting my day really, really well with those things that even if I don't get a whole lot done the rest of the day, I know that I started off well. So
Yeah, solid foundation.
solid foundation to at least get started. And if at 9 o'clock something goes crazy, I'm like, at least I had a nice, calm morning.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone that's just starting on their solopreneur journey?
Yeah. I would say trust the process. I think it's really easy when you're starting a business to want to do all the things right at the beginning to like get your logo and get my email and get my website set up. But there really is a process that you need to follow in your business. And if you do that process well and take the time at the beginning to figure out your skills and abilities that you're really good at, to figure out what niche you're going to market to hire a coach to help you with that process. If you go through that process, then you really will be set up for more success long term than rushing through all of that and just trying to get to your first sale. And then you have to trust that process. After you've made your first sale, there's going to be a process that you have to go through to kind of start to build and grow and scale. Then you get to scaling and it's like, okay, now I'm making decent money every month. Then there's a process that you need to follow. And I think hiring the right people in your business, coaches, people who can help you with marketing, they can help you through that process if you have those people. And so that's really what I would tell myself if I started over again. What I would tell people is trust the process. You're not going to understand everything. Everything's not going to be super clear at the beginning. It's going to feel like you want to have all the steps in place. You won't. You just get one step at a time, and that's okay. That's how you actually build your business.
Yeah, it's gonna be messy in the beginning.
It
And,
is.
I tell people we build websites. That's one of the things that we offer. And I tell people, you don't have to be so focused on it being perfect because in 12 months, you're
Yeah.
gonna change it all up.
Yes. Maybe in 3.
Yeah, based on what learn along the way, so
Yes. Yeah.
don't be so stuck on it.
Yes.
So, where do you have any exciting projects coming up?
Well, I don't know that I have big projects coming up, but I just am slow and steady in what I do and what I love to work on with my clients. And that is the work that I do is VIP days with clients who want to get their operations in order. And so I love to partner with people who are at that six-figure stage who want to get their back end cleaned up so they can actually hire someone. And I do have a freebie. I will give you the link for that, Donna, so that you can put that in the show notes. And what
Yep.
that is I call it the CEO focus filter. And what it is a chat GPT prompt. We were talking about AI. You don't have to know anything about chat GPT except for you just have to have a free account so that you can dump in all the tasks that you're working on and start to filter out which ones of those are a priority. So really that tool is great for if you're just starting out or if you're looking to scale so that you can prioritize the tasks that you have. And then when you're ready, I would love to work with you to be able to get that all fixed up, organized, and ready to go so that you can be able to delegate in your business, whether that's hiring someone or delegating out more to automations.
That's awesome. Did you build the GPT?
I did. I have a great coach who knows ChatGPT really, really well, and I've learned a lot from her.
Good. That's awesome. All right, where can people connect with you and learn more about what you do?
Yes, love that. I am over on LinkedIn. So if you would like to find me over on LinkedIn, my name over there is Sarah A. Jacobson. And so you can find me there. You know, you found me because I have curly hair and I always wear pink. I'm not today on this video if you're watching the video, but all my photos have some pink in it, that hot pink. So you know you found the right person. So I'm over on LinkedIn. And you can also check out my website at yourcooopartner.com.
Great. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it, and I loved the conversation.
Absolutely. Loved it too. Thanks, Donna.
Thanks so much. Hey, everybody, if you're listening and you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe now and leave us a review. Thanks so much. Talk to you next time.